Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
You are most welcome to PENDREAM TV, the only channel that brings you the best and latest updates in politics. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell for more updates, like and also share to other members to watch as well. You can equally leave a comment after watching or send us a voice note on our WhatsApp number, which is 0277 128 777. Thank you. Dafeamekpor has finally responded to EC's comment saying they declared the election under duress, which is said is never true and is a deliberate attempt to rig the election because they wasted more than 13 hours at the Collation Center. And what were they waiting for? Without much ado, I would like you to join me listening to what he said into detail. Please do leave a comment on this. Thank you.
A very beautiful morning to my constituency, Refuting in South End.
I hope you're well.
Well, tired, but okay.
Congratulations to you, first of all. In fact, we were wondering how someone who was contesting election in South End was the same person who was fighting in Tema Central. We're so confused that what happened? When did the man secure his own election to end up in Tema Central a day after the elections? And exactly how did you get involved in Tema Central? And what happened to your own election in South End?
Oh, my own elections got secured. You know, mine was a done deal. So once I secured my elections, I was summoned to Accra to come and assist in some constituencies where, even though we had clearly won, the NPP was in their electoral element to seal the mandate of the people in those constituencies. So I was quickly assigned to Tema Central. I think I got involved in Tema Central from the beginning of this year because we had focused. It's a constituency we've never won before. And so, you know, I had earlier disclosed as part of our strategies for this election, Speaker had identified some constituencies that we have never won before and deployed resources that we should work extra hard to secure those mandates for the first time, as it were. And Tema Central was one such. So we went into action. So even during the limited registration, where some persons who came to register were challenged by the NPP, I came in as the lawyer to secure the release of those EC cards, voter ID cards, as it were. So right from the word go, I've been here trying to work to ensure that the seat this time round is secured by the NDC, and that's what we've done.
Then how do you respond to, and I'm sure you've seen that petition from the man who made that declaration? One, he is not the right person to do the declaration. Two, he even mentions your name, that you were threatening him at some point. He was in fear of his life. That's why he had to make the declaration that you are not, the NDC is not the rightful winner of the seats.
Now, let's look at the chronological order of events. One polls closed in Tema Central on Saturday 5 p.m. Our candidate, the Honorable Ebibright, was leading by over 2,000 votes difference. So she had won the election. You know, the election, once you obtain your results from the various police stations, you will know your fate. So collation as a process is only a tabulation of the various results from the polling stations. But we discovered that this Ifosuhini man, who is actually the Tema Metro Director of Elections, you know, the Tema Metro Director of Elections is in charge of 3 constituencies. Tema East, West, and Central. Now, he has returning officers in in charge of these respective constituencies. Now, what happened was that for the 30 days collation, we spent 13 hours, 13 inordinate hours to collect the presidential result.
13 hours.
13 hours. Even by Sunday afternoon, he hadn't finished collecting the presidential result. It was deliberate.
Deliberate to do what?
Just to delay the process. Because to collect the presidential results, the polling stations already had the figures. So tabulating the figures for 142 polling stations for Tema Central shouldn't take more than 2 hours. It is just a quick addition of these figures. But he introduced all sorts of tricks. We sat there, people sat there, they got weak, people got worn out. Then Sunday afternoon, when we began to collect the results for the parliamentary elections, some persons we suspected to be MPP tax came to throw tear gas because the collation was being done originally at the Tema Secondary School, Tema. So they threw tear gas in the collation hall.
Okay.
So pandemonium broke out. So the police, well, he himself and the police then advised that, given the situation, we should freeze the collation process and come back on Tuesday, not the next day, Monday, Tuesday. Listen carefully.
Okay.
So by the meantime, we have to move the ballot boxes and other electoral materials from Tema in Tema Central to the Tema Regional Police Command, the head office of the Tema Regional Police Command.
Okay.
Okay. But because of the nature of the situation, the ballot boxes that were sealed were moved without our involvement. The pink sheets were also moved without our involvement.
Okay.
Then we got wind Sunday night that the NDC was fabricating pink sheets to overturn the results. So Sunday morning, we got information Sunday night that instead of the earlier directive that all parties should return to continue with the collation of the parliamentary results on Tuesday morning, there was a directive from above that the collation should continue on Monday morning. So imagine a party had traveled or taken a quick trip as a result of this information.
Okay.
So we quickly assembled on Monday morning to go and consider with the collation. So I arrived from the constituency around 11 o'clock Monday morning.
Oh, you had gone back to South Bank?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So because of the fact that we had to return Tuesday.
Okay.
So I needed, we were still in the euphoric mood in South Bank. So I needed to go back and then I quickly returned to join the team. When I got back, I was informed that when I got back, the regional minister was sitting there. All NPP, other officials from Greater Accra, they were there, including their Tema executives. And some other NPP persons I didn't know. I was further informed that this Ofusuhini man, who is the Tema Metro Director of Elections, went to sit in the vehicle of the NPP constituency chairman for over 20 minutes. This was intelligence for my party executives on the ground.
Sat in the vehicle?
Yes. I don't know what they discussed. They don't know what the two of them discussed. But I told them they are tangential matters. They should focus on the collation. So the collation continued, and we discovered that duplicates of things that were given to our agents that they brought to us and were in our possession at the time. The originals of which were with the Electoral Commission. You, for instance, see that in breach of Regulation 39, Sub-Regulation 2 and 3 of CI 127, the originals of things sheets the Electoral Commission was providing will contain the name of the returning officer or presiding officer, the signatures of the presiding officer, the year of the election, the time the polls closed at that particular polling station. On the original, in fresh ink, but the supposed duplicates that we have and the MPP also has will contain those such details. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
A pink sheet, anything you write on the originals of a pink sheet
has to reflect on the copy.
Has to imprint.
Imprint, okay.
Has to imprint on the duplicates. It cannot be in fresh ink.
Yes.
It's supposed to be in the red carbonated print at the back of each of these pink sheets. Then Ofosu will now tell you that, oh, you see, the non-appearance of the name, the signature, the year of the election, and the time that the polls closed, they were not material. So it doesn't affect the content of the figures on the pink sheet. So bring your pink sheet so that the signatures can be entered. I said, like, clearly, these were pink sheets that after polls have closed, and the EC officials came to surrender them, they sat they sat at the dead of night and fabricated them. And the figures were figures that had wide margins in favor of the NDC candidate.
The pink sheets that the EC were now presenting.
Yes.
The numbers on it and the numbers on the duplicates that you have did not tally.
No. No signature. No name. No date of election. No time of closure of election. So I quoted the law and said, for a pink sheet to be regular in law, it has to be signed by the presiding officer in the presence of the candidates or the candidates' representatives, in this case, agents. And when it is signed, it has to contain the details, has to name a polling station, the constituency name, the number of votes obtained, the signatures of the agents as well. When all that is done, results are declared, the duplicate copy will be given to our agents. Then above all this, a copy will be pasted at the vantage point at the respective polling station. All these were not complied with, and this having not been complied with, it amounted to a material breach of the law. So we will not accept them. These were the circumstances. So Gobe became agitated. Ofosuwini became agitated. And he refused to. So he was okay. Let us have it stood down.
Okay.
So we stood down about 5 of such pink sheets. Eventually, when we were done with the regular ones, the correct one, and it's not as if there were no errors on those other ones. The errors included non-tabulation of the figures. So those ones we agreed because the figures were accurate. So So we will allow them to enter the total, for instance. If the petition contains the signatures and those other critical details. So in respect of this 5 or 4, we refuse to agree that they will be admitted. Bobe won't have it. Fosuhene won't have it. He became agitated. Occasionally, he will go out with Titus Grover. They will go the rendezvous and they will come back. Titus Grover is on record to have said that he went to urinate. I said, so the two of you will go and urinate at the same time. But the fact is that they will go out and come back together to where we were all seated. At the time, I had to point this out to the constituency chairman of the NPP. It's called Charles Watson. I told him. So I said, okay, Mr. Fosuhene, you have to declare the results. If any person is aggrieved, the person will have to proceed in accordance with the remedy available, which is to go to court. Because you can't keep us sitting here forever. Then he turned back and said he won't declare the results. Okay. Then call in Vijay to come and take over the process so the results can be declared. He won't do that. So people began to agitate. Our supporters were now this was the premises of the Tema Regional Police Command. So we were surrounded by nearly a battalion of policemen in uniform. So our supporters were far off outside of the premises around, but they were milling around. They were agitated because the hour hand was ticking from about 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Fosuhene won't declare. He would go and take a phone call and come back. He take a phone call and come back. And no. So we said, well, then let's bring the process to a close for the day. That too, he will agree, he won't agree. So we realized that he was up to something. So our supporters began to agitate. And so to avoid all this, the police had to take him inside to go and talk to him. The police command, all the various officers, senior officers in charge of the original police command in Tema, they all spoke to him variously for Fosuhene won't badge. It got to a stage where the results have been validly collated. So if he, because the returning officer for the constituency himself, who is Bobe, was also seated. But this Fosuhene took his, look, he sidelined him and took the process, he took over the process.
Okay.
And we had other EC officers from Tema East who were with us, because the collation became the activity of the EC Tema Metro. So they were all legitimately involved. And given the heightened tension, the other EC officers who were also regularly there and our senior guys decided to declare the results. And so we left. Now, yesterday I saw a long petition from Fosuhene.
First of all, ultimately, who declared the results?
It was declared by the presiding officer for Tema West and not Tema East.
Okay.
Yes. Who was also part of the collation process.
Okay.
Because it was a Tema Metro collation process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, returning officer. Yes. Being corrected. That's the returning officer for Tema West.
Okay.
And let me make the point that nobody should The Electoral Commission is a constitutional body. And as a constitutional body, any accredited officer of co-equal rank can perform a public function, because the conduct of Ofosuhini at the point constituted a deliberate interference with the outcome of the results in Tema Central. He was deliberately doing so, because the law frowns on deliberate delay of declaration of results. Because if you are supposed to declare the results in accordance with law, pursuant to the terms of the Constitutional Instrument 127, and you don't do that, the penalty provided under Regulation 45 will apply to you.
Okay.
You see, the law is not only the law does not only apply to we the citizens; it applies to officials who are supposed to apply the law as well. If you don't act in accordance with the law, you're also in breach. So you could be as guilty of the law as well as a citizen who comes to engage in unlawful conduct at the collation center.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the result was declared a winner. And so yesterday, when I saw his petition, I'm in contemplation as to whether to respond to him formally or to let it slide, because the issues that he articulated in the petition, they were all afterthought. And I even suspect that this petition was written for him, because to even suggest that you directed, apparently when he was being interviewed or he was being engaged by the senior officers of the regional police command, apparently that was when he authorized the returning officer for Tema West to come and declare the results. He admitted it in his petition, and that now he claims that was a mistake on his part, and that he did so under duress. Let me ask you, when you engage in a process such as this, in the premises of not a police station, not even a divisional station nor a district police office, but at the premises of a regional police command, surrounded by over 150 policemen in uniform, fully prepared with anti-riot gear, who will intimidate who? Can any public officer feel intimidated? Then perhaps it means to say that he was intimidated by the police personnel who were there to ensure that the process was conducted peacefully and without any external interference. If he's alluding to having been intimidated by the police personnel, that's fine. But with the NDC, we were just about 5 of us who were accredited agents. That's what the law says anyway at the collation center. 5 agents for presidential and 5 agents for parliamentary. There were a few who were like observers, because they had observer tag.
Okay.
That was about the NDC numbers at the collation center. In any case, the collation was done at an open space under the parking, under a pavilion where I suppose the regional commander and deputies or senior officers parked their vehicles. So that space was created by the police for our collation. The table was set up under that canopy or under that pavilion. It was an open space. At a point, because of the heat from the sun, some single canopy was provided to offer shade to those who were standing and observing. And the pressmen were also available to cover the event. And the police also had, I saw a lot of young policemen with body cam. You know, now they wear their body camera.
Yes.
And they were covering, about 5 of them were covering the events from different angles. right from about 11 a.m. all the way through to the night. So this Ofosu-Hini's allegation that, so you see that his petition, he has in an ex parte manner tabulated the results and awarded the election to the Tema Central MPP candidate.
Yes.
That
by 55 votes.
55 votes. And you will know that this was the agenda they have set in motion by forging those fresh pink sheets, originals of those pink sheets. So that if we had accepted them, truly the 55 votes would have prevailed. And let me quickly add, there was a pink sheet from one of the police stations that got missing. Ofosu-Hini had to go back to his office in around Tema Committee 4 to go and bring that pink sheet from his office. When pink sheets from Tema were supposed to have been put together and put in a ballot box and sealed without anybody having access to it. How did that pink sheet get out of that box? And we are not leaving this matter. We will follow this up with a formal criminal complaint against him and a few others that we have discovered that they connived to actually steal the mandate of the people of Tema Central. Is it not shameful that today the NPP that comfortably wins Tema Central by thousands of votes today is seeking to steal the mandate of the people by 55 votes? They have to be ashamed of themselves.
Now, having said that, let me conclude on this note. You said you suspect the petition was written for him by who?
Ofosu-Hini cannot command that kind of language in the petition. I have engaged him. He can't.
He cannot command that kind of language, the kind of language you read in the petition.
Yes. You know, they brought some two lady lawyers. One I know very well. He was my junior in law school. They brought them. They couldn't withstand our firepower. Because we didn't object to those pink sheets on based on our claims and thinking and suppositions. We quoted law and established the fact that the procedure provided in CI 127 and regulations 39 specifically sub-regulations 2 and 3 were not followed by the EC officials in completing those pink sheets. And when the law is breached, the product emanating from that process is bad. It cannot be accepted. In the same way, when somebody goes to vote and thumbprints a ballot paper, the same officers are able to say that, oh, as for this thumbprint, the person didn't thumbprint properly either beside the candidate or on the emblem provided for the candidate or on the face of the candidate, and that it has crossed to the other side, so it should be declined as a rejected ballot. The same principle that governs the preparation of pink sheets. If you don't prepare it in accordance with the procedure provided in 39, 2 and 3, it has to be rejected. Otherwise, then, anybody can sit down, craft a pink sheet and say that, oh, this is the pink sheet, to accept it is the outcome of a certain polling station. Whether or not the law has been complied with should be immaterial.
And a few things I noted. You were talking about the fact that he was going to the urinal at the same time as an MPP person. You mentioned.
They claim several times.
And you said they were going at the same time.
The same time and returning the same time. They were not even smart about it.
And then you also suggested that you were told by some people who were there before you that he was in the car of the MPP constituency officer. Yes. You are now also suggesting
he went to sit. He was invited to sit in the vehicle of the constituency chairman for nearly 20 minutes or about 20 minutes. What were they discussing?
Are you per this suggesting a collusion between the MPP and the EC?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is the fact we've been driving at. Look at the language Ofusuhini used in his petition. If truly he was an impartial, neutral public servant, simply performing his public duties under law, would you describe a political party in this manner? When indeed the MPP also brought its members to the center. How were you able to distinguish between the multitude of people who came there, or distinguish among the multitude of people who came there, that these were the NDC people and these were the MPP people, and that out of all the melee that took place is NDC members who were tagging or who engaged in tagging, and that MPP members were meek and silent and just folded their arms on their chest, across their chest, and were just spectators. But he was able to describe us in very, very unpalatable terms in his petition to his superiors at head office.
I see. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for giving us these details this morning.
It's my pleasure.
Just one more thing. There's someone who is listening to us all the way from Germany who wants to find out whether you got the copies that they offered you of the pink sheets you were suspicious of. Do you have copies of it?
No, because those were their originals.
Okay.
You see, a duplicate is to be a replica of the original.
Okay. Okay.
What we have as duplicates are not replicas of the originals that they had, which were all in fresh ink.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you. He's Honorable Member of Parliament for South, the Honorable Roxy Nelson.
Thank you for staying tuned. PENDREAM TV really appreciates your time. Please, if you have not yet subscribed as a new member, please do so for us. Hit the notification bell for more updates. Like and also share to other members to watch as well. Thank you.
PENDREAM TV now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.